Do we need white in a watercolor palette? It's very common question. Do we need white? In my watercolor palette, I don't have white. But is that wrong using white? I would say no. In this video, I'm going to talk about how other people use white and when they use white and why they use white. One of the artists that I really look up to is John Singer Sargent. This is one of his books that I have. Every time when I go to a museum, the first thing I will look for is where I can see the John Singer Sargent's painting. And it's always fascinated me. In most museums, you only can see his oil portrait paintings. Probably 30 years ago, when I first saw his original portrait painting in the Museum of Fine Art in Boston. And later I discovered that he also loved watercolor painting. And not long ago, I went to see his exhibits in the Museum of Fine Art in Boston. Over more than 100 original watercolor paintings. They are all beautiful. And I also noticed John Singer Sargent used white. And I spent lots of time looking through painting by painting. And I tried to find out how he used the white. So today I'm going to share my observation. How John Singer Sargent used white and opaque color. Before we look into his paintings, John Singer Sargent do watercolor painting from real life. Do watercolor painting from observations. His watercolor painting most looks sketchy. When he did people in the scene outdoor, he actually asked those people to pose for him while he finished the watercolor painting. Let's take a look at one of his paintings. What you see over here has two ladies as the focal points. He first covered everywhere with translucent watercolor. And then when he get to the next step and doing the adjustment, instead of lifting out the colors, he painted with white gouache paint versus opaque watercolor paint. Just take a look at, in the clothing, in the shadow, you can see some of the light green colors, actually opaque light green color. He mixed the green color with the white and then painted on top of whatever the color that is there. White color stroke, he used a very thick white. He did not dilute the white with water. Very thick, just the way that he painted oil painting. Take a look at this landscape painting. When he put all the colors onto the watercolor painting, he's trying to leave the white shape wherever he can, like in the top left corner of the mountain. He left the white over there. Those are white shape. And also the white shapes on the short stone wall. When he gets to the time to adjust the paintings, I would not see any of the use of lifting off for the white space. Instead, he would use white. Just put the white color on, very similar to his oil painting process. When then he see some lighter color, like say some little blue color inside the light purple color area, instead of taking the color out, he would just directly paint the light blue opaque colors into the space there. And lots of his paintings, you would say, did not really finish. Just take a look at this painting. This probably John Singer Sargent just finished his first step. Leave lots of white shapes, put it down, and then he stopped. You can imagine if he need to do adjustment, when he need to have a lighter color somewhere for the details, he would use white color. So you can see, John Singer Sargent did not start with white. He started with translucent watercolor. Light color is light color, rely on the white from the watercolor paper and leave it white. Light color and dark color become a very attractive composition to create nice balance. After he finished the first step, instead of lifting off colors from the paper, he used scratching and opaque white to create the details. This is a good example. Yeah, take a look at this painting. When he started the painting, they are all translucent watercolors. Very clear brush stroke. He did not mix the color with white paint. But you can see on the dress, he tried to create those patterns. So what he did, he used white. Let's take a look, a couple more. You can see he first painted with lots of blue color and brown colors for these two figures. But after he finished the first round, and when he started getting into the adjustment, he used opaque red colors, probably Indian red, and also used just the white colors mixed with little yellow colors and just painted on all those details. Create those highlights on the left side of the face and the highlight on the head and the highlight on the left side of the dress. Also on the face, use white mixed with the orange colors and paint it as opaque colors onto the face area. Also inside the eye white, he did not leave it, he just painted on. Now you can see, he did not start with white, but when he got to the later part of the painting process, that he need to get the white space back, he used white. This is not the examples. You can see that most of the spaces when he started it, just painted with translucent watercolor. When he need to change the color, he did not use lifting off technique. Instead, he just putting the opaque blue colors into the space, as well as the opaque light orange colors. Use the pure white colors on the dress everywhere, even on the face, on the head. The famous John Singer Sargent used white. So should everybody use white? I would say no. He used white because he feels comfortable. He has his own painting process that match his personality. Should everybody doing the same thing? You don't have to. Many different approaches, different materials for you to do your own experiment to find out what is the best way to match your emotional expression. There's nothing wrong with using different color palettes or using opaque colors in the watercolor painting process, because the materials are only a vocabulary for an artist to express. The message, the content, the feeling, the statement is more important than the material.